Well, hello there everyone. 2020 really has been a brutal year for everyone. It just feels like the year from the very beginning really has just been awful, really. There's been so much happening in the world that's been negative, and yeah, we've all been affected in lots of different ways. And it's with a heavy heart that this morning I woke up to hear the news that Tim Smith had died, which really took me aback. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with who Tim Smith is, that's understandable, because if you're not familiar with the band Cardiacs, then it's very unlikely that you will be aware of Tim Smith. Now, I feel that genius is often hidden behind closed doors. You don't tend to see genius out and about, you know, plastered on billboards or you know, clogging up the airwaves or being on telly and being everywhere. You know, often it's the ones that we don't know about working in the background that are the true genius. So Tim Smith was the sort of the lead singer and songwriter for the music from the band Cardiacs. Now, I've done a video on sort of an introduction to Cardiacs, which you can see here. So if you're new to the band, then that would be a good place to start to find out a bit about the band and their style. But it's fair to say that Tim Smith has a huge following of fans, very loyal fans who have stood by him, particularly over the last number of years where he's been very poorly, because sadly he suffered a cardiac arrest some time back, which completely prevented him really from being able to do anything again. No music, and even just the very basic mobility was completely taken away from him. And there's been lots and lots of support over the years with fundraisers, and you know, lots of money being raised to support him. And you know, I think whilst we all appreciated that, you know, Tim Smith was never going to be returning as an active musician, you know, we all accepted that. We knew that his condition would prevent that. There were still kind of, I suppose, glimmers of hope that perhaps, you know, new technology or new revolutionary kind of techniques would arise that would maybe allow him to be creative again in some way. I woke up this morning to the news and I had to kind of reread it quite a bit to, you know, to make it sort of sink in, because I didn't realise and I couldn't quite understand it. It didn't make sense. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, why are you talking about this Tim Smith? You know, what's the big deal about him? Well, you know, there are a very small number of influential musicians on me as a composer, and I could easily count them just on one hand in terms of the pinnacle, the ones who are absolutely the elite in terms of my respect for them, and the influence they've had on me. And I think so far Tim is probably the first on that list to die within my own lifetime. A few of the others that make the list are those who died before I was born. Now, Tim was often compared to, you know, the genius of Beethoven, you know, a kind of a modern day Beethoven, and you know, it's fair to say that his musical prowess, his compositional ability really is unmatched. And you know, whilst they may not be a mainstream band, they have had a huge impact on many mainstream bands. I know Damon Albarn from Blur, you know, has cited them as an influence. And you know, it's what I said at the start of the video. You know, we tend to see the mainstream, and that's pretty much what's in our face day in, day out. But it's what's happening behind the scenes, the unsung heroes really, that we miss. And I've always been interested in that side of everything, really. I'm not interested in popular culture. I'm interested in the stuff behind the popular culture that you know, you have to dig a little bit deeper to find, and you get more rewards from. You know, and Tim's compositions, not only are they musically satisfying, you know, you can listen to them and enjoy them as pieces of music, but technically, you know, and structurally, they're very complex and very well written. You know, and for me as a composer, someone who's, you know, maybe a little bit more analytical than some other listeners, you know, it's fantastic to listen to his music. It's really so sophisticated, so complex. So yeah, it's been really a very sad day today, because like I said, you know, Tim Smith has had a big impact on a lot of his fans, and also on a lot of musicians, and you know, his loss is really going to have a big impact on a lot of people. And yeah, so I feel very, very reflective today, and very sad about his passing. And I will probably be listening to some of the albums a little bit more recently, to kind of just, you know, revisit his work and listen to his albums again, and kind of, you know, take you know, his wonderful music and absorb it over the sort of the next few weeks. Yeah, so what I did this morning is I decided I'd write a little piece of music for him. You know, sometimes I'm not very good with words really, so I sometimes find it hard to express how I'm feeling, whereas, you know, that's when the power of music comes in, and you can kind of say a lot more with music. So so I sat down and just wrote this very sort of short piece that I feel has his hallmarks attached to them. So Cardiac fans will probably recognise that the chord progressions are very Tim Smith. They're all major chords, and they move around quite a lot, so they're not in a fixed key. I've included a trombone, which I think represents the regal quality of Cardiacs, and also glockenspiel, which represents, I feel, the more childlike delicacy. And it's just based on this very simple melody that kind of goes around this chord sequence, and I feel it sort of encapsulates you know, how I feel about Tim and his music, where whilst also hopefully being, you know, respectful, you know, as well. It's always difficult when you write music for someone who's passed away. So I hope people will like the piece and maybe find solace, or, you know, that it helps them perhaps whilst they're going through, you know, a grief for a great one of our great British composers. So that's all I want to say really. Yeah, I can't really believe how 2020 has panned out really. It's been remarkable. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with the track now, simply titled For Timmy. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and just, you know, look after yourselves, and, you know, use the support of the community, the Cardiacs community, because there's a lot of very supportive people within that circle. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.